Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's now, what is it? I don't know. It's the 23rd, Friday the 23rd of August. It's 10 to 6 and we're heading off. I've just for the last hour been in Copenhagen. The new bar from Victoria Craft Beer, they've managed to get it open for the bank holiday weekend and for the Halifax Beer Festival, which is a bit of a miracle from when I saw it on Tuesday. They hadn't even got the floor half done and the bar was needing tiling and everything else. So yeah, amazing job by all the builders and everyone there to get it all working in ship shape. So I just checked that the espresso machine was up and running okay and checked the grind, so the coffee was good. Obviously having White Rose Coffee Roasters coffee, my coffee, freshly roasted, and we supplied the machine and grinder for them as well, so making sure all that was okay. And yeah, it's all looking good, so very impressed for them that they've got it all up and running. So another thing that's happened, if you can see the blue sky up there, it's sunny and warm, like 27 degrees my car says now. What? It's gone from like 10 degrees to 27. Only in the UK can one day to the other just change in such a way. It's been pouring forever and a day and now 27 degrees, it's scorching. Just, I don't know what to do. So yes, it's supposed to be a very hot weekend. On Monday I'm taking the family across to Blackpool because they're having a week in Blackpool. Unfortunately I'm working still, but I'll be going across the following weekend and spending 3 days with them there then. But they get some extra time while I'm at work, and by all counts it's going to be gorgeous, just like it is now actually. Whee. So yeah, so this week has been particularly it's been pretty busy actually, so a lot going on. I had to sort out getting the equipment down and everything for the new bar. Had a fair bit of roasting to do, not a massive amount for a change, but did have the Square Chapel team up on Wednesday to try 3 different coffees in the end, as espresso and as a flat white, to see about them changing to a different coffee. So that went well. They liked all the coffees, which is perfect, but they didn't find one they liked more than the other ones, so I think we have a winner for their next coffee, so that's going to be good. They just need to sort out the finer details, as it were. My MacBook woes have continued. I got all excited because there was a new update for Catalina, the new OS, on Tuesday. Installed that. That did solve many problems, including let Firefox work again, which was great. So didn't solve all the Parallels problems, but I suppose we'll just have to live with that for now. But yesterday morning, randomly my MacBook just cut off, rebooted itself, but it didn't even reboot itself. It went off and there was no graphics at all. Wasn't even like the reboot logo or anything. So after much messing about and holding the power button until it rebooted itself again, and resetting NVRAM, PRAM, SMC and every other thing I could think of, I managed to get it to boot back up again, but it just kept randomly doing the same thing. It just shut off, reboot. Sometimes I'd get the boot logo, sometimes I wouldn't get the boot logo, and then I'd have to keep starting it, and oh, it was just so completely bemused. It did pop up with a few error reports, which I looked up, and they weren't great. It was saying it was a kernel panic of the GPU. And I looked up the details of that, and most said that it was the GPU was actually on its way out. And it was common, really, for those MacBooks. I mean, mine's a 2013 MacBook Pro, so it's 6 years old anyway. But around that time, the GPUs apparently had a lot of problems. They get hot, the heat stress affects the soldering of the joints, and they come split, and then this happens. So from what I'd read, because I thought I'll downgrade, that'll solve it. So last night, booted it. Funny, it ran for quite a while last night without having a problem, and then went off. And then I thought, right, I'll run the installer and go back. So I was going to go back to Mojave, ran the installer. The installer got to the point where it would boot up to the GUI, and it crashed off again. So it wouldn't even run the installer. So at that point, it was like, well, it's not actually a beta software issue. This is a hardware issue. So I looked up, and apparently the solution, or you can get away with as a solution, is to bake the motherboard in the oven for at 200 degrees for 7 minutes. Right. Or you take the motherboard out and use a hot air gun for 5 minutes on it, on the actual GPU area, to heat the GPU. It's supposed to reflow the solder joints or whatever, and it fixes the problem where they get splits in. So I did that today. Took the whole thing apart, disassembled it all, took out the motherboard, removed the heat sinks, cleaned off all the old dried thermal paste, stuck a hot air gun over for 5 minutes the GPU, and put it all back together again. Amazingly, it all still worked. It did run for absolutely ages without a problem, which yesterday it wouldn't do 5 minutes. And it did an hour and something else, but I'd left it alone and came back and it had rebooted. But it had rebooted up to the full thing, so whereas before it was just not rebooting to anything. So I've kind of made it a bit better, but not fixed it, basically, by the looks of it. So looks like I'm in the market for a new MacBook Pro, and then selling that one as kind of spares and repairs. But at least, I mean, it's functioning now, which it wasn't yesterday at all. I'll just have to see how it progresses. So keeping an eye out on eBay listings for slightly newer but not brand new MacBook Pros, as they're ridiculously expensive. But could have done without that. Right, I think I'm going to get rid of my parcels, then come back, then do Mr. Nice, if that's okay. So parcels and then back. Okay, so let's quickly do Mr. Nellis's words of wisdom. Had a sneaky peek, and they're not very long this week, which is good. So I want to get home and enjoy some hot weather. My things to talk about on your vlog: the death of Peter Fonda. Rings a bell, but I'm not sure why. Me's have been to Pizza Hut in Halifax with George Lumley, Adam Ogden, Aidan Lee and Anthony Payne as a birthday treat. Oh, happy birthday as well, Mr. Ellis. Oh, birthday treat for Aidan on Sunday. Oh, sorry, I thought it was your birthday. Oh, Aidan's birthday. Oh, well, happy birthday, Aidan, then. On Sunday, Me's have been to Tom Garden Centre as a Padang trip, and I had a picnic at Brearley Green Bench on Thursday afternoon. Very good. It'd be better having a picnic today, Richard, because it's nice and hot, and yesterday it wasn't. John Leslie and Co. Not seen that one. My dad and mum, as they've moved house today. Lucky them. Bit of a hot day to move house, but you know, at least they're moving somewhere. Oh, motorbike's heading off before us, so we'll let her get going. Right then, so we got plenty of space. So yes, it's let's say been quite a complicated week, one way or the other. And now we're at the bank holiday weekend, which is quite good. Get Monday off, and pretty much think we got everything done we needed to get done at work. That's about it, really. It's been a funny old week. I don't know, it just seems to have been one thing after another. I've not really got a huge amount done. Well, not what I wanted to get done anyway. Which is kind of frustrating, but... Oh, darn it. I was going to put some fuel in, I totally forgot. Oh, well. I shall have to pick some up. Sunday going to York, so I'll need a bit for that. Monday going to Blackpool, so I'll need a bit for that as well. So I could do with topping up somewhere. I'll probably do that at Tesco actually, because I've got to do some shopping tomorrow, I should think, as well. So yeah, not a huge amount else of interest to say really, because last weekend was pretty much not very exciting, mainly because it was wet and cold and miserable, so didn't really do a great deal. Sunday I walked along the canal in Brighouse to take my Sunday Sublime Sunday post. Oh dear. And that was alright actually. And went to my dad's and we just did some bits of tidying up around his house, so nothing too exciting. Then
warning, risk zone, speed limit 30 miles per
hour. That was
hour.
about it really. It's not... Oh, look at that, we got hit by the lights. So, it's been a week of lights. Mr. Nellis was telling me about the Queensbury, because there's roadworks at Queensbury as well. There's roadworks everywhere, Mr. Nellis. So, I get these on the way home, I get the Queensbury ones on the way to work. How long the queue is can vary wildly. Sometimes they're short, sometimes they're ridiculously long. No particular logic behind either of that either. I think Wednesday night there was a big queue, but there was a big queue down at Stump Cross to go into Halifax as well. I think there must have been an accident on the motorway. Tends to be why you get loads of traffic there. So yeah, I mean the Queensbury ones do cause me a bit of grief as well. Who sneaked through the lights at the last minute? I wonder. So the bus didn't, thank goodness.
Warning, risk zone.
So yes, a welcome return to the nice weather. No, don't mind me. No, it's okay. Goodness. Welcome return to the nice weather at least, and it's supposed to be a scorcher all weekend, so that's even better. Now, so we're going to be away, out in it, getting out in it a bit, so that'll be good. Hoping to go magnet fishing with the boy tomorrow morning, or tomorrow daytime at some point anyway. And finally getting the magnet out and give that a try. So that's going to be interesting. Concentrate for the roundabout. Watching stuff, I haven't watched a huge amount. I watched, oh, what was it called now? remember. Oh, we've got Liam Neeson in. Cold Pursuit. That was it, Cold Pursuit, because it was out in the snowy regions of America, at Detroit, and then it was somewhere out in the snow area. That was a pretty good film, actually. I enjoyed that. Then other than that, I've been watching a bit of my Dark Matter still. I haven't watched a lot else. I've not had a chance, to be honest. I've been having a lot of early nights. Work's been draining me again. And the thing is, with it being so damp and dark and miserable, weather-wise, that kind of affects it as well. So now the sun is shining brightly. I'm looking forward to getting home and getting out in the garden in the sun and a bit of outdoors fresh air. Kind of missed that for a few weeks now. And so that's about it really. So yeah, a weekend, magnet fishing tomorrow, York Sunday, Blackpool Monday, back from Blackpool Monday night, so I can be ready for work Tuesday morning. And we'll see what next week brings, I suppose. Going to be interesting, one with the other. Further concentration. So, as far as Steam goes, there's not a huge amount happening at the moment. Of course, we're all waiting on next Tuesday for the next hard fork to take place, which definitely will now, because all the top 20 are running version 21, so it's got complete approval. My rank's kind of gone up and down and up and down a bit. I lost quite a big voter because I'd supported the hard fork 21, which is going to take a place anyway, so that was a bit of a waste of time. Sort of him unvoting anyone with running on hard fork 21. So really all up and running and ready for it, although I do backup still on 2010, and I'm running on the backup at the moment, so I could do some tweaking of the primary server to get that ready. My little token bot is still not the most reliable little chap. He keeps crashing for some reason. It's something to do with API calls or something with Beam, but I don't know. It runs for a while. It could be 2 hours, it could be 24 hours, and then it crashes at some point, and then have to restart it, which most of the time now seems to involve deleting the database and let it recreate a new one, because otherwise that crashes it even more. We'll see. See what happens with that. So that's me back home in the sun. So I hope everyone has a good weekend, good bank holiday if you have one, wherever you are, and I shall catch you all in next week's exciting coffee vlog. Utmost concentration here. Okay, see ya.